Want more money? Want to get into shape? Want a loving relationship? Okay, so why don't you have these things right now? The answer is habits. Your habitual behavior and thoughts are keeping you stuck right where you are. So how to get past your habits? You've got to open your routine to different thoughts and actions. When you do this, you start to get different results. It really is that simple. But most people don't stick with the changes long enough to benefit from the results. This is where the habit formula comes into place. The habit formula looks at the origin of habits and how they form. Then it takes the next step in showing you how to hang in there long enough to see the results you want. Want to learn more? Go to thehabitformulabook.com and grab your free copy. That's right, it's free. Go to thehabitformulabook.com. Find out how hundreds of other people around the world have used the habit formula to get the results they want. You don't need to be Einstein to figure this out. Go to thehabitformulabook.com today. Hey everybody, you know what time it is. It's lunchtime with the Habit Master. I'm your host, Dr. Stephanie Aldrich, and I help people change their bad habits. When you change your habits, you change your life. Today's Basics Thursday. I always come to you on Thursday, with things that can help us in everyday life. Talk about habits, skills, mindset, action planning, that kind of thing. So today we're talking about how to improve our communication skills. Now, this goes whether you're in business, you're an executive, you're a small business owner like me, and you're trying to communicate with your staff members, with patients. You're a salesperson, you're trying to communicate your product or service with potential clients, with past clients, with current clients. There are always something that we can improve on in our communication pathway. And we're going to talk about 5 ways that we can improve ourselves today. Now, before I get started, I want to remind everybody, grab your free copy. You can download it. It's a free ebook. It's called The Habit Formula. Go to thehabitformulabook.com and it will help you make the rest of 2019 the best ever. If you start following the exercises in the back of each chapter and just fill out the questions, I'm telling you, it will make a world of difference. It has already changed my life for the better, and that's the reason why I'm coming to you pretty much every day with cool things. I learn something every day, and then all I do is pass it on to you. So I was looking at communication styles, communication issues, things that big corporations train their people on, and I found some statistics. It says, according to HubSpot.com, 40% of salespeople say the most challenging part of the sales process is closing, which was 36%, and qualifying the customer, which was 22%. So that equals what? 58%. So that's almost, 3/4 of the whole process of a sale is having to do with communication, either at the beginning, which is the qualifying stage. Are they even qualified for your product, right? Can your product or service even solve the problem that they're having? Are they being honest with you about their problem? Are you not communicating correctly that you're actually finding out what the problem is? Or is it just totally the wrong product or service for them? Like your product or service is just nowhere near going to solve their issue, right? But that doesn't mean that you still can't help them. But without knowing that, and qualifying them, you're dragging your feet and you're wasting a lot of time and energy on somebody that you're not going to make any money on. You're not going to help. You're not going to improve their situation, right? And that's where we have to, be a little bit more diligent about how we're doing things. And I think the 5 ways that we're going to talk about of how to improve our communication style or pathway between you and another person is going to help do that. It's going to help make you a little more efficient. The other part of the equation is at the end, closing. A lot of times we're trying to spew all the facts that we know on our particular subject, and we kind of talk the person out of it. Like they were all ready to go, and then we just kept boring them to death, and then they don't want to deal with us anymore. Also, sometimes we just don't even ask for the close. Hey, do you have enough information that you're ready to buy? Do you have enough information? Are we ready to go? All you got to do is ask that question. So that's where I think closing comes into play, where we're not asking the right questions, qualifying, and then at the end, we're not ending it. We just keep spewing out information. They're done with the information. They're done. They're ready to buy. All you got to do is ask, are you ready to buy? And then boom, close it. Sign the contract, get the paperwork, get the money, whatever it is that you do for a living, do it. Let's say you're in a dating situation. You don't have to go and, show them all your tricks, right? You want to go out sometime. You want to go have a cup of coffee. You want to go have a drink. You want to go to a movie. Whatever it is, shut up and close the deal. Get the date. We're going to talk about how to do that later. 6 out of 10 buyers want to discuss pricing on the first call. Basically, tell them. If they're worried about price, they're shopping around for the best deal, they want not only the lowest cost, but they're looking for the most value, the most bang for their buck. So talk to them about it, even on the first call. But first, you got to build value. Maybe pros and cons of you versus someone else kind of thing, right? Ask them, have you, been looking? Who else have you talked to? Well, I've talked to, blah, blah, blah down the street. Okay, well, let me kind of compare the two for you. And that way, we can kind of settle things right now. We do this compared to them. We don't do this compared to them. And here's our price. If you can kind of do a pros and cons or a comparative list of the benefits and features of yours, and don't do every single benefit and feature. You should know who your competition is, right? And you could communicate that with this potential client or customer or patient by saying, okay, we do this, here's like a few features and benefits that we can help you with compared to that other person. You only need to give 3 to 5. You don't need to give 80. Right? That would take forever. 3 to 5, that will interest the person to come in and maybe give you some time that you can then talk to them, set up an appointment, get them in. Okay? 1 out of 4 buyers, so that's 25%, wanted to discuss their budget and timeline. So not only are they worried about price, but they're worried about can they afford it, and how long is it going to take to close the deal, to get the product or service, or to solve the problem that they're doing? Because maybe your service, like for me, I'm in the tooth business, right? Some things I can do right now. Some things I need a specialist to help me with. So it might take a couple weeks to deal with. Some things it takes months for them to heal, so that then we can, build the house on the foundation that's taken a while for them to, heal up and they're ready to go, right? They are concerned about that. Talk to them about it. That helps you with the closing part too. So they're asking questions, help them with their questions. And don't expect them to ask everything. Just quickly go over things with them and ask them, what do they want? What is their timeline? Maybe they don't necessarily have the money to buy your service or product right now, but maybe later they do, or in 2 months they do, or they're a company and their budget comes in quarterly, and so next quarter they're ready to rock. Well, now's the time for you to get all the paperwork ready, get everything ready to go, that you tie that bow on that package beginning of next quarter and you rock and roll. Okay? So that's something that you got to think about. 60% of buyers want to talk to a salesperson after they've done some research. We're in the information age, right? And it's easy for me to go on a Google review site or Amazon review and look and see what other people have done. I know for us, we've got over 100 5-star Google reviews. Why? Because I think it's important for people to compare us, to compare what our patients have gone through versus other people. It speaks for itself. I don't even have to sell you on it. We provide a wonderful service to our patients, and other people can see that. You know, how can you communicate that with your potential customers and or current customers? Because, you know, they're doing research online and they kind of want you to fill in the gaps. And a lot of times they're already pre-qualified. They already know that this is what they want. But you as the salesperson need to make sure that the product that they've chosen really is going to meet their needs. Maybe it's something cheaper, but it doesn't quite fit the bill, but they think that's all you have, and you can actually fit everything 100% with something that might cost a little bit more, but they see the value in that because it does solve all their problems. They're going to more than likely go up to the next level. So that's something that we're going to talk about on 5 ways on how to improve the communication, so that you kind of know and follow along with where they are and where they want to be. You've got to fill in that gap, right? It says it takes 18 calls to connect with a buyer. So if you're cold calling people, most people will not buy on the first call. It's usually 5 to 12 contacts, but in the HubSpot, it's even more, 18 calls. So any kind of contact. So you got to be a little creative. Maybe, you know, use your phone. So you've got texting, you've got emails, you've got photos of yourself of something funny. You've got article links you can send them. You've got video that you can send them. So be creative in the way that you contact potential customers. 7 out of 10 buyers watch a video at some point during the buying process. People are visual. They like to see before and afters. They like to see what they're getting themselves into. Show them video. Send them a link on a video that's a corporate video or a product demonstration or something like that to get them interested. Or a testimonial. Video testimonial is very powerful in, you know, gaining someone's attention and trying to build that trust and confidence in you and your product. And then half the buyers aren't a good fit for your product. So remember, 22% of people have trouble in qualifying a buyer. Well, you need to be able to effectively communicate with them to qualify them quicker so you're not wasting your time. So let's go over the 5 ways to improve the communication. Number 1 is find some common ground. This could be with personal stories. This could be stories of things that you've dealt with, you know, with your product or service. You know, you're trying to date somebody, you know, let's go personal. And you got to find some common ground. What do they like? Is there something that, you know, you both have in common? You really, a relationship is pretty doomed if you don't have things in common that you like to do, that you enjoy to do, that you can look forward to doing. You have the same mindset and things. You know, you value the same kind of things. You have morals, you have manners, you know, whatever it is. You're organized, they're organized. Whatever it is, characteristics and traits, find some common ground. But this also goes in sales too. So I had a patient, this was about a month ago. They started coming in and they're very quiet. They're older patients, and I'm always respectful, especially with the older community. I say Mr. and Mrs., you know, I'm very polite and I have manners and that. Well, you know, they weren't really talking much. And so I just happened to know that their last name was my grandparents' last name. And so I brought that up and I said, oh, all those people are just good people. I swear that's all I had to say. Didn't have to say anything else. And those people, every time they've come in 3 other times here in this last month, they just love to talk to me and, you know, tell me whatever. They ask questions. They, you know, we have a conversation. All I had to do was find one simple thing on common ground. That's easy to do. If you're meeting someone for the first time, think of something and kind of get their opinion, kind of read the room, If they've got, a Cavs jersey on, say, hey man, I'm from Ohio, I love the Cavs, blah, 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 and LeBron this and blah, blah, blah. That's all you need, is to find one thing in common, and that will help you to communicate that. It will help to bring their defenses down. It will help them open up to you and say, hey, this person and I, we're on the same wavelength. I think I can do business with them or date them or whatever it is, right? So number 2 is find out the real problem. Sometimes people don't know what the real problem is. Sometimes people think that it's one thing and it's actually another. Whether you're, a salesperson or you're in medicine or anything like that, you got to do some investigation, and that does take a lot of question and answer. And sometimes you got to be creative and think out of the box. So, in the tooth business, there's not a lot of things that can stump me because, after doing this for 20 years, I ask the same questions and try to get the same foundation of answers so that then I can build on and try to figure out what's going on, right? Sometimes the person is nervous, they can't, they're not sure what the outcome's going to be, they're nervous that they're going to be taken advantage of, they're defensive. When you're in that type of situation, find common ground first. That's going to help lower their anxiousness or their defenses. And then start asking them, so what can I help you with? Why'd you come today? Are you having a problem? For me, are you in pain? Is it hot, cold? Is it biting pressure? Is it throbbing all the time? Is it waking you up at night? Those are my 4 biggies that I ask all the time. And that kind of narrows things down. Yeah, it's just killing me. Okay, well, it hurts on biting. Well, then I know it's probably cracked or a lost filling or something like that. It could be in the nerve and they need a root canal. So right away we take a picture of it, an x-ray, and then I look, okay? And then I do other things, right? In your specific industry, you got to know what the real problem is, okay? If your spouse is upset about something but they're not talking to you, you got to do some digging. What is the issue? What is the real problem? Women are notorious for this. We get ticked off, and I do this too. I just get quiet because I don't really know what I'm feeling at the time, and sometimes that's how it is. And sometimes I'm so ticked off that I can't see straight, that kind of thing. Calm down and really think about what exactly the issue is, because without that communication, as a salesperson, you're never going to be able to solve their problem. You're not going to make a sale. You're not going to, fix anything or sell them a product. And, in your personal life, you're never going to meet face to face and build a friendship or have a relationship or whatever unless you know what the real problem is. You got to get past it. You got to see how you can compromise. Find out what the real problem is. Number 3, we talked about this, I think, last week. Listen versus hearing. Hearing is the physical act. There are sound waves coming into your ears pick them up, it goes to your brain, it processes it as a sound, right? As someone talking to you. Listening, though, is attention and focus on really what the words are that are coming out of their mouth and what do they mean. Okay, that kind of goes back into what is the real problem. Okay, so I want this particular watch, and I've done research on it, and you're a person that sells watches, and I come in and I say, this is the watch I like, I did research on it, I want to see it, let's do this. And you look and you're like, this watch, I have small wrists. This watch is humongous. I'm not sure if this is going to look right on you, but let's try it on. So I try it on, and it's just too big, and it looks gaudy, and it's just ugly. And I say, whoa, this is terrible, right? You're listening to me. You're the salesperson. You're like, you know what? Do you want something around this price range? What do you like about this type of watch? Well, I loved the shape and the color of it, and that it had this kind of face on it. Okay, you know what? I have something that I want you to look at and see if you like it better, because that one obviously is too big for your wrist. Maybe this will do. It's about the same price, and see if you like it. I'm listening as the salesperson. I am helping my customer do what they want. They want to buy something, but I have to get them on the right product. I am actively listening to their concerns, to what they want and what they don't want, right? That will definitely, I think this one is probably the one that will trigger the closing and get you the sale. I think these other two kind of get you into the qualifying what's the real problem, so you're not wasting time on somebody that your product and service isn't right for. Common ground kind of just breaks the ice, right? But active listening, shutting up, listening to their answers, and giving them what they want. You'll close the deal every time because you're giving it to them. Number 4, and this is something that I've learned from Grant Cardone. If you haven't heard of him, get on YouTube. He's everywhere. Guy's got like 1 million subscribers. He does real estate and business and sales training, whatever. Find agreement with your customer. Agree with them on stuff. When you agree, you open them up, you lay down your defenses. People won't buy with someone that they don't agree on. They don't find common ground with. They don't find that connection with. If you go in to a sales presentation and you're all like, no, we can't do that. I don't know. Let me think about it. I can't do that. Maybe they need financing or something like that. Don't shut them off before you even know for sure, right? There's always ways to make a deal, okay? Sometimes you got to be more creative with it, maybe break it up into payments, or maybe they don't get the full product, they do it over certain months or something. There's always ways to be in agreement with them, and people won't buy unless they're in agreement. So make sure that you're like, I understand, I'm not buying today. They come right in. Can I help you, sir? I'm not buying today. Don't even bother me. Sure, sir, I understand. You know why? Because you don't even know what we have yet. How's this? I'm going to leave you alone. You go and check out our stuff, and then I'll come back and talk to you in a few minutes. Oh, okay. And then they go in and do their thing, and then you can go and pop in. You're agreeing with them. You're kind of helping them to, hey, I'm waving the white flag. I'm at peace here. I'm not trying to rip you off, right? So that's something to think about when you're, meeting new people. Be in agreement. Be friendly. What can I help you with? If they're not looking at this, then you have to give them pros and cons of the situation and just say, hey, I'm just here to help. When you're ready to make a move, you let me know. And I say that a lot. I don't force people to do stuff with their mouths. I tell them what the problem is, what a potential problem it could be if they don't get it done. And then I back off and I say, hey, it's your body. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. But I also tell them, I'm only here 3 days a week. Do not call me if it starts bothering you, because I know it's going to. It's just a matter of time. You're going to have to fit it in when I'm here. And usually they're like, okay. And they either go for it or they don't. Whatever. The last thing to do to help you improve your communication skills is simplify. Talk to people in a simple way. Talk to them in a friendly way. You don't have to spew out all of the knowledge that you have, all the technical terms, right? Talk to them on a 5th grade level. When you do this, you will make more sales because more people are going to understand you. People already think you're smart. They already think that you know what you're talking about because you've been doing this certain job, or you're an executive. You get paid well, you dress well. For me, I've had my own business for 20 years now, and they know I know what I'm talking about. If so, I wouldn't still be around, right? I wouldn't have tons of patients and, making good money, right? When I talk to them, I talk to them in very simple languages. I draw them dumb 5th grade pictures, probably 1st grade pictures because I'm not much of an artist. I show them video. I talk to them in very simple language so that they understand, and there's nothing where I think I'm better than them because I know technical terms. That's the way to communicate more effectively, more efficiently, is if you're communicating on a normal scale, okay? If you're my sister, I'm going to talk to you like my sister, right? If you're my aunt, I'm going to talk to you like my aunt. I don't have to show off to you. I don't have to, spew out every single fact that I have. They don't care. They just want to know, can you solve the problem or issue? That's all that they want to know. So I hope this helps everybody. Improve communication skills. Let's go over the 5 ways. Number 1, find common ground, okay? You're trying to qualify someone to see if they qualify for your product or service. You got to find some common ground to kind of to start the conversation and lower their defenses. Anything. They're wearing a certain brand of shoes. I like your shoes. Oh, thanks. Where'd you get them? Oh, you smell good. What are you wearing? That kind of thing. Right away, that breaks the ice. And then they're like, oh, they notice. They're paying attention to me, right? And that's what people want. They're buyers. They want somebody to pay attention to them and help them. Do that. Find common ground. Number 2, find out what the real problem is. This causes you to ask questions, and then you got to listen, actively listen to what they're saying, what they're not saying, their tone, their body language. Are they in a hurry? If they're in a hurry, then you need to set up a separate appointment with them where you can relax and do your spiel, right? If they're in a hurry, you just want to talk to them a little bit about stuff to see if they qualify for what you're trying to help them with. Number 3 is the listen versus hearing. Hearing is the act of the physical act of actually hearing something go into your brain, right, into your ears. Listening is actually figuring out what those words mean, what they're trying to tell you, what problems do they actually have so that you can solve them, okay? 4 is go in with agreement. I don't want to buy today. I agree, sir. I understand. I wouldn't want to buy either because I don't even know what's going on. I'm going to give you a couple minutes, look around the showroom, see what you like, come up with like 3 questions for me, and I'll come back in about 10 minutes and I can help you. Show agreement. Show that you're waving the white flag, that you're on common ground, and that you're here to help. You're not here to, bombard them with anything or make them buy something that they don't, want or anything like that. And the last thing is to simplify your language. Talk in a very simple 5th grade language. Most people read on an 8th grade level. Talk even more simply. If you do that, people will understand what you're saying. You'll communicate a lot more effectively and efficiently, and they'll actually understand what your product or service can do, and then see and try to make the connection to see if it'll solve their issue. So these are the 5 ways that you and I can improve communication. And of course, you can use these communication skills both personally and professionally. They work no matter what. Listen to your spouse. Find out what the real problem is, okay? They are tripping over your socks that are in the middle of the floor, but the real problem is that they're having an issue with da-da-da-da-da. Find out. Do some digging. It works either way. Relationships are relationships, whether it's professional or personal. So I hope that these 5 ways help you. Remember, you can check us out on Spotify and iTunes. Look for the Lunchtime with the Habit Master episodes so you don't miss any. Also, go to my YouTube channel. There's tons of stuff on there about the 3 pillars of success. We talk about plans, action and mindset, and that will help you create better habits and change the behaviors that are getting you stuck and maybe going the other way that you really want to go. So that's it for me today. Thanks for watching, and let's build good habits together.